What's going on, everyone? It looks like we may have some good news when it comes to Westbrook. At least some team still wants him. According to the Western Conference Scout, the Lakers are telling teams that they will take a wait-and-see approach to trading Westbrook as training camp approaches. If the Lakers decide to trade Westbrook at some point down the line, the Spurs remain one of the few teams in the league open to such a deal. They go on to continue. At one point in time, the Spurs were in talks with the Los Angeles Lakers to absorb Russell Westbrook's contract. In that scenario, San Antonio was to be compensated with multiple draft picks. Currently, a source close to the Spurs says the two teams are no longer engaged in active talks due to the Lakers preferring offers by both the Pacers and the Jazz. We know that the Lakers and the Jazz are still having ongoing conversations. Pacers deal seems all but dead. And then the original Pacers deal was sending Westbrook, the original Spurs deal, my apologies. Original Spurs deal was sending Westbrook to the Spurs and then Kyrie to the Lakers. Basically, the Spurs were going to operate as a middleman for the Kyrie and to the Lakers trade. So that obviously isn't on the table anymore. That isn't going to happen. So now any trade where the Spurs would take on Westbrook would just likely be a 1-for-1 trade. Unless another team, they could work out some stuff, maybe a 3-team deal, something like that, to maybe get like a Josh Richardson, something along those lines. But that is going to be really tough. And then salaries, like how that could match, unless the Spurs, like, for whatever reason, want like a Jordan Clarkson, but I don't know why they would want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very hard. So if the Spurs were to get involved, it's very likely going to be just the Lakers and the Spurs straight up for some sort of package. I think that the Utah Jazz deal is the most likely scenario still. I still think the Lakers want that package more than anything else. Obviously, they don't want to give up draft picks because the Spurs package, could be all right, but I just think the Utah package as a whole is better. Even the Pacers package as a whole is better. We'll dive into the Lakers or the Spurs package in a moment, but I think if you could get Beasley, Clarkson, Bogdan. Clarkson is a piece that you can move off of. Even Beasley is a piece you can move off of. Both those guys would have some value. They're on reasonable enough contracts to where you could flip them to another team, maybe even work out a 3-team deal, something along those lines. Because also the Lakers asking price for these guys aren't going to be as insane as the Utah Jazz's asking price for these guys. So I just think it makes more sense. Lakers do this deal, gives you Clarkson, who you could decide to use if you don't want to use them. There were reported teams that wanted him. They just didn't want him at the Jazz price. So maybe you could get a piece that you, as the Lakers, see more value or more need currently than trying to get a pick or something like that. Or even if you can just get an extra second round pick or a couple seconds for Clarkson. If a team was willing to give up 2 seconds for Clarkson, but they didn't want to give up a first. If you're the Lakers, maybe you could get that. Hey, we don't really need Clarkson. Let's go. Do that, and we'll leave that one open roster spot. Here you go. You can have Clarkson. We'll take back what you wanted for the year, and then we'll take those 2 picks. Not saying that will happen. It's just possibility, right? Gives the Lakers options. Now, when it comes to like the Spurs package and what they have, I just don't think it's comparable to this. I mean, some people feel otherwise, but the reported Spurs package for like a month, 2 months now has been this. It's Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and Jacob, or however you say his name, Jacob Portal. I know I always butcher his name, and every time I say his name, somebody in the comments like, you said it wrong, and then I'll say it a different way. They're like, you said it wrong. I'm talking about Portal, okay? Jacob Portal. That's what I said, but I know it's like some other, like the J is silent. But anyway, moving on, sticking to the thing, is that Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, Portal. These 3 guys, I think you can make an argument Josh Richardson may be the best player out of like everybody in the deals that is out. But again, the package as a whole, I think Doug McDermott, he's your floor spacer. You get that shooting. Not really much different than a Hield or Bogdanovich, stuff like that. It's just Bogdanovich has the size. That's the only reason. I have always not been very big on Hield. Like, I don't want shooters just for the sake of them shooting and doing nothing else. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather have a guy that's like 36, 37% than a guy that's like 40% but can play defense and stop them. because like Doug McDermott goes and gets you 15 points. That's great. But, if he gives up 20, then he's a net negative and doesn't help you out. Now, the center position, getting Portal, like I don't think the Lakers would use him at all. That's my problem too. I just think there's no need for him, especially with the type of offense Darvin Ham's going to run. He doesn't fit that. Secondly, you got Davis, you got Bryant, you got Jones. Like those three you got for a specific reason and because they fit the offense that Darvin Ham wants to run. Portal doesn't. He's a low post, back to the basket type guy, terrible free throw shooter. He can knock down the mid-range. I will say he is an underrated defender. Not the greatest in the world, but people sleep on his defense, and he is a great passer. He's a really good passer coming from pop system, stuff like that. And I do like the idea of having a low post center that when the shot's not falling, you're grasping for buckets here. You can just dump it down to the big fella, let him go to work, go get you an easy bucket. Like I've always been a big fan of that. I always really like that because you get these patches and you see it a lot now more than ever because of the type of league we're in, that fast-paced shooting type league. And it kind of makes these big men obsolete, but it's nice when you see a lot of these teams that do have that low post back-to-back and they'll put them in, and start slowing it down just to get some easy buckets. And I think that that's what you get with Portal is that you get the back to the basket, low post, right? Here's the little, easy, quick bucket. Just go get us a 2 because we haven't scored in the last minute and a half. I just think he becomes irrelevant. I just think that he might never see the court because you're not starting him over Thomas Bryant because Thomas Bryant specifically you got for that Brook Lopez style type of center, just being able to space the floor and knock down the 3 ball. And then Damian Jones is a better defender. He can still step out. He's listed as like 33% from 3, but he doesn't take enough to really get a fair assessment of how good he can shoot 3. But still, he could step out. He's more high energy, more like defensive. Like it's just you're only putting him in if the situation arises. Otherwise, he's probably never playing. And do you really want a player that you're paying just to not play? Unless you can unload him in another deal, which maybe, but how many teams, it doesn't seem like teams are lining up with the Spurs to go get him. That's my other thing. Like, I don't mind Josh Richardson. I don't mind Doug McDermott. My only thing is that, like, with Doug McDermott, you're getting the, you're getting the shooter, but you're not getting the defense. And that's my concern too. And like I understand you're getting the same thing with Bogdanovich, but at least Bogdanovich is 6'8". He's got a wingspan. He at least tries defensively. Not the greatest defender, but you can play him at the 4 and you don't really lose that size. And top of that, you're getting Beasley. You're getting Clarkson. Like I just think also Clarkson would have more value than McDermott or Poeltl. I think he has both. Same thing with Beasley. I think Josh Richardson would definitely have value, but if you're trading for him, you want him, so you're not gonna ship him out. I get that this is a decent press button, break glass in case of emergency type thing, but I don't think the Lakers would do this deal. I really don't, because Pop isn't gonna do this without a first. You might be able to convince the Jazz and to maybe not take a first, maybe a pick swap and some seconds just because the Jazz have to. I'm not saying that they will. I'm just saying the likelihood of you doing that and making that argument is a lot more likely because the Jazz have to do something. Where the Spurs, they don't have to do anything. They can stand pat. Yeah, the Spurs are tanking, so whatever they could do to be as terrible as possible to go get Victor, I get that, and they're probably looking at it as like that. Like, hey, we'll take some free assets and we'll take on Russell Westbrook to buy him out because we can move off of guys that maybe get us some wins here, and we could be the worst team in the league, and now we're in business. Like, so I do understand that thinking and logic. I just think from the Lakers, you could do better. I don't think this is the worst deal in the world. Like, I don't think this is worth a first. Because like I said, you're getting back a player you'll probably never play. Because Davis, you're going to play Davis at the 5 before you play Poeltl at the 5. So you're trading for a guy that you will likely never play this upcoming season. At least Clarkson, you could find space for him because he could play the 1, 2, or 3, if need be. Richardson, definitely, he would be solid. And Doug, he definitely probably earned some rotation minutes, but I think with the Jazz trade or the Pacers trade, you literally would play all three guys, or those other guys have value. Again, if you want to keep Josh Richardson and trade the other two, these other two guys don't have as much value as Clarkson and Beasley. They just don't. So I just think, again, however you slice it, I think the Spurs deal is lesser, but I still don't think it's a terrible deal. I still, like, if the Lakers did this deal tomorrow, depending on what it was, if they gave up both first, I'd be like, they're a bunch of idiots. But if it was reasonable, maybe that 2028 pick swap, 2 seconds, all right, cool. I'd be okay with that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of the Spurs still being interested? What do you think about the Spurs trade in period? Would you like that trade? Would you hate that trade? Would you be on board for that trade? Is there anyone else you'd like to get from the Spurs? I mean, they don't really have much left. But, this is what's been thrown out there on several occasions. So, at least it's good to know that there's still an option out there if need be. And the Lakers are taking the wait-and-see approach because they want the Jazz deal. They know as if we wait and be patient, sooner or later, the Jazz are going to have to make a move. So can we write it out for them to make a move? But anyway, let me know your thoughts and opinions, however you feel about it. Love to hear it down in the comment section below. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. Go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.